Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to another plan with me. Today we are memory planning the week that was July 15th through to July 21st, and boy has it been a minute. I don't even remember the last time that I recorded a voiceover. Just as a fun little fact for you, I am currently doing this voiceover on June 6th, 2025, and this is obviously a July spread from 2024. So if you were wondering how we were trekking in terms of like old spreads and catching up, that is where we are at. I'm also very much out of content to post. So until I start editing and doing voiceovers, content is continuing to stay at a lull. I'm doing my best, but there's a lot of life stuff happening, which I will update you guys on at some point. I will also let you know, and I'll probably let you guys know in another video just to keep it fresh, but I'm pretty sure I may have mentioned it before, but I'm not going to be putting up planner spreads for the bulk of August. I think all of September. And then, so August, September, there'll be no videos. And then I will post October through December videos. And then hopefully we can do a flip through of my 2024 planner and we can get into some of the newer content from 2025, which I've also been really bad at keeping up with. I think in my 2025 planner, I've planned up until the last week of January. So that's how life is going right now. But with that said, and more importantly, back to this spread, this is a very old SPC kit. I am quite certain that I purchased this kit in a D-stash literally years ago. And for anyone who is an avid SPC fan, you will probably be able to tell how old the kit is just by looking at the header overlays, because they are the really old school ones where they had like the border around the outside and then like the cursive font. You'll see what I mean shortly. But that's how old the kit is. And I think it was only a mini kit. So for anyone who knows me, you guys know that an SPC mini kit is just not going to work for me because there are not enough functional boxes and I am a no white space planner. So I did have to pick and pull bits and pieces from other leftover spreads, from my functionals range, and I had to very much try and make this work. And I think for the most part, I pulled it off. Let me know what you guys think in like when you see the final spread. But I think I was able to match the colors pretty well. I think the SPC washi that I use, the kind of like galactic washi, fits really well. I don't know. I just think it looks really, really nice. And I'd wanted to use this kit for so long. This week was actually the week of one of our good friends' birthdays. And said good friend shares her birthday with my goddaughter. So my goddaughter actually turned 1 this week. So I wanted to use a party kit and I wanted to use one that was kind of child appropriate. And I thought that this was the perfect one. I can't really tell because I'm actually sitting in the dark trying to record this. I think it's holo foil. I don't think it's, at first I thought it was lavender holo, but I'm pretty sure it's just plain holo. And I've used kind of a mismatch of foil as well. So I've got foil from SPC leftovers. I've got foil from Caress Press. Yeah, I don't know, but I think it manages to look really fun, really nice. I am actually on the hunt for like birthday kits and like party kind of spreads. So if you guys know of any stores that have like birthday kits available, that would be amazing because I feel like I've used all of my birthday kits, and when I want to mark a special birthday, I don't have anything. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate the quote in the sidebar that says, "Don't try to swindle me because I like cake." Love it. Thought it worked perfectly with this spread. I was short a full box for the sidebar. You guys know that I like to put my 3 full boxes in the sidebar. I ended up having to use a Monday through Sunday checklist that I have not yet filled in. I think I'm just going to put like highlights of the week there, or like for each day. I don't know. I also really enjoy how my entire sidebar, I don't actually know if you'll see it. It's tilted. So the first one is straight, and then you've got the quote box tilted, and you've got the tracker tilted as well. Anyway, I feel like I've spoken enough about the base and the sidebar, and I'm very out of practice doing these, if you couldn't tell. So let's go ahead and jump into the day by day. So as always, you guys know that I like to be pretty consistent with the way that I mark work. So fortunately, this kit did come with some little work labels. So I've used those throughout the week to mark work. The second thing that I marked on Monday was that I had a long day doing appeals. Basically, in my role, people could appeal decisions made for particular applications to do with like their life and circumstances. And I would then get allocated one, and I would have to review it and contact the client and hopefully, ideally, overturn the original decision. But obviously, the one that I was dealing with at this time was very painful, or the multiple I was dealing with at this time was very painful. I do know that towards the end of 2024, the appeals that we were getting, like the workload was ridiculous. They are now gone in 2025. Again, if I remember, depending on time limits and things like that, I'll fill you guys in on all of the changes that have happened because, like I said, life has happened, keeps happening, and a lot has changed. But spoiler alert, we no longer do appeals, so that's fun. I also marked that it was icy cold. I was watching Gossip Girl at this time. I'm pretty sure it was the reboot. I vaguely remember finishing the original Gossip Girl because I did a spread for that, and then I started the reboot. I watched some YouTube this day, and then we finished off the night by watching Fear the Walking Dead. God, that seems like a lifetime ago now. On Tuesday, the first thing that I marked was that I had a blood test, and then, like always, after a blood test, I like to treat myself to McDonald's breakfast, but if it's not a full breakfast, at bare minimum, I do like to treat myself to a McDonald's coffee. I then marked work. I then got called via from our IVF clinic. They wanted to schedule another blood test the following day. I can't remember where we were at. We must have been in the midst of a stims cycle. Because I vaguely remember one of our stims cycles. No, was this a transfer? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But we were doing something with IVF because we were having I think, did we? Yeah. This was the week I had 3 back-to-back blood tests. So I had one on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and the Thursday. Yep. I remember now. I then marked that there was an MRC headache. So that's just a service within our work that I'm not much a fan of still to this day. I then marked that I went to the post office after work. And then, as you guys know, if you've been around here for a while, whenever I have a blood test for like IVF stuff or just in general, my husband comes with me because I really don't like needles. So it then ends up that I have to pick him up from the station in the evening when he's finished work. On to Wednesday, of course, as mentioned, I did have another blood test and a follicle scan for my IVF thingy, my bobby stuff. Again, Macca's coffee. I then marked work. Once again, I had to pick up my husband, and then I marked watching YouTube, and that I watched Fear the Walking Dead. Thursday morning, you guessed it, we started off the day with a blood test and a McDonald's coffee, but maybe we didn't actually, because I didn't mark coffee. I marked that I had a long work afternoon, that I watched Gossip Girl, then I had a coffee, then I watched Fear the Walking Dead, and then I had my trigger shot this night. So whatever it was, my hormone levels were like fluctuating really quickly, like more rapidly than they had in previous cycles. So that's why I had the 3 back-to-back days of blood tests. And then I did my trigger shot that evening in order to release my little eggies. I'm talking to you guys like you know, but for anyone who's been around for a while, you guys would have watched all my Playing With Me's and you would have heard all of my IVF stuff. So won't rehash it, mainly because I don't have enough time in this video. On Friday, I marked work. We then had an IT outage. It was when they were having those like blue screen issues. It was like a nationwide thing. So I think screens went off at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock, maybe earlier. And at 4 o'clock, I still couldn't get in. So I ended up logging off work for the day. I also marked that this day we got our palm trees in the backyard cut down. So we had a really, really big one that would drop leaves on like our roof and stuff all the time. And then we had a smaller one that wasn't really a concern, but two birds, one stone. And I remember watching from the upstairs video, the upstairs desk where I film and where I work and do all of that stuff. I watched the guy climb the tree of the big one, and when he first put the harness in, he like fell off the swing, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be dangerous because it was really, really tall, and I was worried that either he was going to fall out of the tree or they were going to cut the palm tree and the palm tree was going to fall the wrong way, because where our house is, we're kind of like at the front. We've got neighbors to our left and right, and then we've actually got neighbors backing onto us as well. So if the palm tree fell the wrong way, it very much could have landed on one of our neighbors' houses. Thankfully, he climbed the tree. Thankfully, it fell the right way. And I somehow managed to catch him cutting it, and it, like the top of the tree falling and like collapsing into the ground. And the impact was so big, it left like a divot in our yard. So that was interesting. But we got those cut down. I then marked that my mother-in-law came out this evening, that we had pizza for dinner, and then we just kind of had some family time, chatted, hung out with the dogs, etc. On Saturday, this was the birthday day, so this was our friend's birthday and my goddaughter's birthday, which I've marked in. I marked that this night I started pessaries in preparation for our embryo transfer. So yes, we were in the middle of a transfer cycle. We triggered. I started my pessaries because we were going to put an embryo back the following week. Following week? Is it the following week? Yes. So we did our embryo transfer the following week. I marked that I did some laundry, and then this evening we watched How I Met Your Mother. They tell you that when you're doing an embryo transfer, you should laugh a lot and watch like comedy movies and stuff. So that's what we did. And then on Sunday, I marked that we had McDonald's for breakfast. Well, I did. Then we went to our friend's house because my goddaughter was having her first birthday party, and their mum was going to be planning and prepping everything at the event space. So I actually had to go and get the two girls ready. I then marked that we had the first birthday party, and that I was formally announced as one of her godparents with some others, and we got to blow some bubbles and did like a little poem thing for her. We then went back to their house to hang out and open presents and do all of that stuff. And then we watched The Good Mother before going home. But that is it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you all soon for another one. Bye!